Hi everybody! Today I would like to talk about a basic but very important subject, which is what to do with your photo once you take them. So, I had a request from one of the viewers that would like to know my workflow, how I take photos from my camera to my computer, what I do on my computer, and how I back up and archive my photo. So this will be a video that will be very basic. I'll be talking about a few options of software you could use. I'll show you my workflow, how I operate, so that'll give you some ideas so you can tailor that to your need. And again, this isn't a super advanced video, but I'm just going to show you what I use, the hard drive I use, the software I use, how I use them, and how I set up my photos. Alright, so stay tuned for a very interesting video on the basics of photography. First, let's talk about what I do with my photos once I take photos into my camera. It goes into an SD card. I shoot raw. I'll sometimes shoot hundreds of photos into one shoot in one afternoon and thousands of photos a year. So it is a pile of data that I will import into my computer. So I need to have a structure and a system working where I can delete, backup, archive. Otherwise, I can only put so many of these cards into my computer before my computer would be full. So I take the photos, I'll introduce to my computer, and what I'll do is I'll use a software that's going to help me manage the photos into my computer. So I use Adobe Lightroom. There's other options on the market, but Adobe Lightroom is great for me, for my need. I subscribe to the Adobe photography plan, which will give me a few apps. So they'll give me softwares like Lightroom and Photoshop. They'll give me some space into their cloud so I can store photos into their Adobe cloud, and it will allow me to easily manage photos between different apps and software that I own onto my different devices. So if we take a look here, I just plugged my SD card in there. I had Lightroom set up already, open. So when I plug in, the import module comes in. It'll ask me, if you take a look here on the left, Untitled is my SD card. It'll ask me if I want to import these photos. So I'll check. The one you see grayed out there is the one that I have already on my computer. So it'll give me the options to take the photos that are not on my computer. And the reason why is I deleted all of those photos already. But anyway, if I wanted to afterwards, I'll go on the right side and it'll tell me my destination where I want to put those photos. So I'll go into my computer and to my pictures. So I'm going very quickly through this, but I'll show you in a second what I'm doing. And I'll go to year 2020. And in there, if I wanted to here, I have an option to create a folder. So if that was a new shoot I was doing somewhere, we'll, just for the sake of doing that, we'll call this one test, and we'll import these photos into the folder 2020, creating a new folder named test, and then we're going to import this. So now that I've taken the photos from my camera, put it into my computer, Lightroom is the middleman, if you will, or the software that will help me create a structure on my computer, so create folders, and that way it's easy to manage my photos. And basically here what you see is all the photos that just import. So that's why I like to use a software. I like Lightroom. Like I said, there's the other option of the market. There's Capture One, Pictorial. If you're a Mac user, you can use the Mac Photos software that come with your operating systems. So those will all do the same thing. They'll create a catalog of photos that you see right here. They'll create an easy way for you to take a look at your image. You can zoom in, you can go back, you can flip between different images if you want to, go back and forth. So this is a must. I could take all my photos and take them and copy and paste them right onto my computer, but having this help me visualize the one I want to keep, help me manage what I want to do, and I can edit as well with this, as using other different softwares like Photoshop or Luminar. Luminar is another great option I didn't mention, but it's another great software you can use with like this management system that I'm just looking to right now. So find yourself a good software that you will be comfortable paying for, you'll be comfortable using, and a software that will work for you. So I won't go too much in details in this right now. I just want to show you a few more options out there that I just mentioned. So we'll go on the browser here. You have Capture One, same as Luminar and Pictorial. Capture One will give you the option of creating a gallery like I just showed you. You can edit, so that's more on the professional side end of things. So there is a lot of options, a lot of things you can do with that, and you can see it's like 30 Canadian dollars a month for all camera users. So it's quite pricey. There is Pictorial. Pictorial is a lower budget, user-friendly option as well. And I have also Luminar 4, which I will open right now to show you, but that's another great option as well. So you can go to library, and again you can have a lot of different option for your folders and everything. So those are some options out on the market. There is more, like I mentioned. Again, find the one that works for you, and for me it is the Adobe Lightroom. Let's dig a little deeper into Lightroom. I would like to show you how I manage my photos, not how I edit them into Lightroom. We'll leave that for a different time, a different topic. But I just want to show you how I manage my files, and that way that'll give you an idea what you can do with those software. So most of the software I talked about a few seconds ago will do roughly the same thing. So you'll be able to rate them, put some word into your image to find them later, and everything like that. So I'll show you how I work with Lightroom. So this is a folder of photos that I have from Mexico. So you'll see some are already rated 5 stars because I work on that folder already and stuff like that. But I'm just going to show you, if when I import the photo, if the folder was just bare, I would have a bunch of photos in there that I wanted to delete, some that I want to work with, and some I'm not too sure what I want to do with, but I would just keep anyway. So let's dive right into this series of photos from a nice hotel room that I stayed at. So I took a bunch of like brackets, so you can tell there's different exposures and so forth. So on the middle you'll see the photo. On the right side you'll have the information about the photos, right? So if I go look on the histogram here, if I go a little further down, you'll have the metadata. I can add, if I wanted to, some keywording in there and say like hotel. I could either copy this like this and then go to the next one, copy paste, or I could take all these and press sync, and then by syncing I'll sync a bunch of information in there, and in the keywords I could say hotel and synchronize, and then they will all have the name hotel. So if I were to search for the word hotel into this folder, or even my whole catalog of photos that I have, well, these photos will show up. So that's one way to tag some images. I personally don't do that because I know exactly where things are, and but that's just one tool in the toolbox I want to show you before I dig a little deeper in there. So that's keywording, right? So next thing I can look into is my settings. If I want to know if I work some with the flash and some without the flash, or some with certain exposures, I'll sometimes refer to that, all the information. So it's another great feature that you can have on those softwares. You can see exactly what you shot with, what time of the day, what date, and so forth. But primarily what I do is I know that these photos I want to work with, I want to use that and blend all of those images into one. I want to do some digital blending, let's say in Photoshop. So I want to be easy I want it to be easy for me to find all the images I want to work with. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rate this with stars. So that's a great system that Lightroom have. I can right click to show you here and set rating. I could set this with 3 stars. So I can press 3 on the keyboard to all those images. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my group. And now you see that all these images now have a 3-star rating. So this is a great way for me to label these for editing later. So I'll go back down. Let's say there's a bunch of photos of birds here. So let's say I look at this image here. If I zoom in, if I find this image is not as detailed as I want it, the composure is not great, whatever reason might be. If I don't want it, what I'll do is I'll press X on the keyboard, or I'll set it as rejected. So basically, if I go into that, I'll be setting flag as rejected. So if I go back into my group, you'll see now that this is roughly grayed out. There's a little flag with an X that means that I don't want this. Okay, let's say I'll put another one just because right there, and I'll go back to my crocodile file. This is a great little crocodile place I've been to, Crocodile Sanctuary. And here we go. I get 3 photos that I want to reject in the whole bunch. Another thing I sometimes do is I'll label those with colors. So I'll go around and I'll say, let's say there's one colored here in red. So let's say I really like this photo. It's part of a group of birds that I want to, I don't know, do a folder on later on, whatever it is. I can choose, let's say, this photo as well, and I can color label them red. So that's probably what I do. I use stars and I use colors. So now what I wanted to show this is I want to show you how powerful the rating system is. So at the bottom here, I'm going to put a filter. I'm going to put a filter of 3 stars. So it's going to show me everything that is 3 stars and above. So now those photos that I labeled 3 stars and I wrote hotel are showing here, and it's easy for me to select them up, right click, and say I want to edit into Photoshop as layer. So it's just a way for me to regroup and find those photos very easily in the future. Same thing goes if I say I wanted to choose the rejected photos. I can go here and choose only the rejected photos. So then I can go around and say, okay, I want to delete those 3 images because I don't really like them. I choose them there, press delete, and it's done. So I don't have to go to every photo and press delete and do some clicking with the mouse or whatever it is. By doing that, I chose all the bad ones, put them under the rejected category, and then I can choose them all in one shot and I can delete them all. So I do that a lot through my folders, go through, delete, delete, delete. Because if I don't delete photos, I end up with thousands of images and my computer is just full very quickly. Okay, so now I showed you roughly how I import my photos, how I rate them, how I group them, how I can put keywords on them, and how I delete them. So I'm not going to go too much more in details on how I manage my photos on this, but it is the end of 2019 for me. We're in April in 2020. I've done all the editing, all of what I wanted to do in 2019. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare my year in photo for backup, my last backup, and for archiving. So first, before we jump in this, I just want to show you a little bit how I do my folders, and then it will make a little bit more sense of my Finder. So on the top right here, this is how I organize my photos on my computer. I go to my folder picture. I have my Lightroom main photo folders. In there, I create years. Into the years, I'll create folders of what I shoot during the year. And in there, I'll have my raw files. So that's what's on my computer right now. If I click on 2017, there's nothing, because I deleted all the photos from 2017 and I did put them into my hard drives, my NAS, the cloud, wherever it is. My photos are backed up in several places. but no longer my computer. 2018, I did one shoot for a company called Grave Wolf Expeditions, and I kept some of those images because they're a client of mine and they wanted some files edited and some minor tweaking. So I kept that folder. I brought that folder back from my backup back in here, and it was easy to work on it. So I only have one folder in 2018. 2019, on the other hand, I have all these photos. Now I know that I want to take that and I want to archive that and I want to back up those photos. I know I'm done editing the photos I wanted to. So what I do is I'll create my best of photos of the year. And after that, I'll take all the folders I have there of my raw files and I put that into my devices, and I keep my best of 2019 on my computer and on my cloud and onto my devices. So my best ofs are the photo I want to share with families and friends, that I want to do posts on social medias, that I want to do prints or books or whatever the case might be. Those are my best photos. And the rest of it will be dormant somewhere else. If I need to work and do another project, I can bring easily those photos back to my computer and work on them. But for the time being, I just want to take them out of there. So we'll go back to Lightroom. Now that you know how I work with my star rating, my best of photos are 5 stars photos. So I'll put my filter to 5 stars. Oh, I need to make sure that. And those will be my best photos of the year. So what I'll do is I'll press Command A to choose all those photos. I'll click Export, and then I will say best of 2019, and I would choose a name, best of. Okay, the name will be best of 2019. And what I will do is I will choose this folder, destination. I will go to my picture. I will go to my final images. Sorry, I already have like a best of 2019, but we're going to replace this now. We're going to press choose, and we're going to export. And then they're preparing all those images, 142 files. And what's happening right now is I'm taking all those images and it's going straight into JPEG format into my final images folder for the year as my best images. So that's why I like to rate images. It's easy to play around to find them and everything like that. So once again, whatever software you use, you will have the capability to do something similar to this. So just find a way to that works for you, a way that makes sense, and a way that's easy to manipulate your photos. So we'll speed this up a little bit, and then we'll come back with the archive portion. While this is backing up, I'll take advantage of the time to talk about what hard drive and what hardware I use to archive and back up my photos. So I have like different hard drives that I bought throughout the years. Some are not working anymore, some are working, some have cable issues, some have internal issues. So small hard drive like these ones will and can fail on you. They're not the best of, so that's why I usually what I do is I buy, when I started I bought a few of those, like at least 2, but now I have some for different purposes. So I've got a Western Digital one, and this doesn't have too much capability on it. I think it's only 4 terabytes if I remember properly. But what I do with this, I do an ongoing backup of my photos and an archiving at the end of the year. So this is something that will keep separate from the rest. It lives in a little Pelican case, which is waterproof, and it's easy to grab and go. If there was a fire or something like that, I could take this. This contains all of my personal images and videos and some of my commercial finished product on it. So this is a hard physical copy I keep at home, and this is all this is used for. Now I have a Lassie Rugged. This is a 2 terabyte. You have the options of RAID on this. So I'm not going to go too much in a big explanation what RAID is all about, but just keep in mind that this is a hard drive that I bring with me on shoot. So basically it's a Thunderbolt 2, so I can plug that into my MacBook Pro and easily back up photos during a shoot, after a shoot, or whatever I do. So this is like my go-to into my camera bag. Also, because it's Thunderbolt 2, I can actually edit videos from this. The connection is very fast and it's working pretty good. So if I wanted to, I can go ahead and on the fly have something I can travel with, edit from, and that's a great add-on to my 1 terabyte. So now I can have 3 terabytes of material I can work on easy from my computer and this hard drive. So I don't archive on this. This is more like a short-term backup that I use this for. I never leave photos onto a card longer than it needed. So I will shoot an event. I will go shoot like a friend's family shoot, and I will keep my photos on my SD card. I will keep the photos onto my hard drive, and I will keep a copy of photos onto my computer, and right there and then I have 3 copies of the shoot I just did. So if something were to fail, at least I have 2 other options. Once I get home, I'll keep this until I know that I don't need it. So then I can back up onto my NAS. I can back it up onto my Western Digital, and now I can delete this and I can put it back into my camera bag, and then I don't have to worry too much about the photos on it. So I never keep like photo long term onto an SD card. I have a network attached storage, a NAS. If you guys don't know what it is, we'll jump into the website here. And this, I have bought a QNAP TS451 Plus. So what it is a 4-bay NAS, and there's 4 hard drive into this. So the big advantage of a NAS is you can work that as your own cloud. So right now there's no physical attachment to my NAS, but via the Wi-Fi, I can send files back and forth from home or from anywhere else in the world. I can have my clients grabbing files from home via the internet. I can send them links and stuff like that. So it's like your own personal cloud. And because there's 4 hard drive into it, you can back up your photo, archive your photos, and a very ease of mind here, because you can set your NAS into different RAIDs. So I have mine set up where I have 4 hard drive, and if one of the hard drive failed, it does not matter, because the 3 others will have all information to back up the one that failed. So redundancy, basically. If anything were to happen, some hard drive fails, I still have all that information. And remember, hard drive will fail more likely throughout the years. So having a system that is foolproof, it's crucial in my opinion. So I got this TS451 Plus, which cost me roughly $1,000 Canadian during Black Friday. It's not cheap, but it was a well thought investment and it's well worth it. Then Rugged Lassie, highly recommend. A lot of different products. I went to the website because I wanted to show you this little Go laptop free with Boss. So now you can bring only the Boss Lassie product, plug a card to it, and you don't even need a laptop anymore. So I could go on shoot without my laptop or travel around the world light and just have this on my camera, put my files right into this, and I will back up my photos very easily. So that's another great option that's out there on the market. These new version of my desktop for Western Digital, now they go up to 14 terabytes. There's a lot of options out there. It is way cheaper. Also, there's other options like this one that you could use that's cheaper as well. It's Seagate, the basic. I had a few of those in the past, one of which the cable fell on me. But they're, again, good, small, compact. I wouldn't recommend I wouldn't recommend having this as your main backup source, I would recommend having like at least 2 or 3 of them for redundancy if you're going to go that avenue, but those are some options. So this is what I use primarily. I use this on the go, this as my backup and archive, and my NAS as my ongoing backup and archive. So at least I have that as options as well. So now we're going to go back to Lightroom. Lightroom have done its job. It's done exporting. So if I minimize this and the internet, I will go and see into my Lightroom main folder here. Sorry, my final images. And in there I have best of 2019. And those are all my photos I just sent as my best of. So at this point, there's a few things I'm going to do. I'm going to plug my external hard drive in there, my Western Digital. I'm going to go straight and introduce that there. Also, I'm going to go to my NAS. I was talking about how I can do a backup on the NAS. So my window down below here is my NAS. So I can click on this. I can go to my backup, my photos. I'm going to go here. And then 2019 is my main folders, but also have final images. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drag this folder 2019 here. Whoops, just a 2019. And I'm going to drag and drop this into final images. They're going to ask me if I want to replace, merge. I'm just going to say, in this case, I'm going to replace everything. And then just like that, it's taking 3 gigabytes of JPEG photos from my computer, and via the Wi-Fi, I am putting that onto my NAS. Another thing I can do as well, because I have Adobe Photography Plan, I have Adobe Lightroom, and also have Adobe Lightroom Classic. What we were just talking about the whole few minutes before was the Lightroom Classic, and we have the Adobe Lightroom. There's an app, and this is an easy way here to send photos there to the cloud. So if I take a look at that cloud here, I have 20 gigabytes that I can use with my plan. So what I use Adobe Lightroom, the one you just look in there, is just to do an ongoing backup of photos that I really like. It could be photos from a A7 III, it could be photos from my iPhone. It doesn't matter. I just take some photos that I want to keep. I want to take a look when I'm on the go, on my phone, on my computer. So I just take a bunch of photos like this and I just throw them as an ongoing backup of JPEG images that I really like. So I have a whole collection of things that I've been taking throughout the years, and basically it's just images that I just threw into some albums, and with that I can go and create websites as well. There's all type of different things I can do with having my photos on the Adobe Lightroom and on the cloud. So that's another mean for me, as I use that as a backup as well. So I have 809 photos of my best stuff throughout the years that are not here with me. If my boat that I live on here were to burn down, if I didn't have time to grab my case with my Western Digital, at least I have the cloud to save the assets that I just put throughout the year. So another option as well for backing up. So I'm talking about backing up and archiving. So I do ongoing backup. What I mean by that is I'll take images, all the cool photos I have from JPEGs I want to show people, or I want to do something with. I just back that up onto the NAS, onto my devices and the cloud. So that's an ongoing thing that I'm going to do throughout the year. So now that I've done 2019, I am done doing ongoing backup with 2019 because I'm starting my 2020 folder. So if I go here to my Lightroom main folder, now I have some folders that I started into 2020. So at this point, I am ready to do my archiving of 2019 because I don't have to add more to it. So I will go and put that folder of photos that I have 2019. So again, I'm gonna go on my NAS. I'm gonna go here to 2019, and I'm gonna take this folder here 2019, and I'm gonna go and drag and drop onto my folder. And they're going to ask me, do I want to merge or replace? I'm going to say I want to replace. And the reason why I'm doing this is because sometimes I'm just going to introduce a bunch of photos to Lightroom. So I have photos, let's go back here for a second. In 2019, let's say I went to Campbell River and I introduced some photos there. I have some photos at work. I have some photo from Mexico, from Port Renfrew. So sometimes I'll go around and let's scroll down to Mexico. I have a lot of photos from the Pelicans here. And I did not delete all those photos right away. I was a little lazy or got distracted. I worked on a different project or ran out of time, whatever the case might have been. So throughout the year, I will have time to go back and work on those photos. But I'll already back up that trip from Mexico into my devices through my ongoing backup process. It's already done. But at the end of the year, I wait a few months after the year and I go through my photos again of 2019 and I delete as much as I can. I worked on more photos. And whenever I know I'm trimmed down to the bare essential, then I'll stop and then I'll archive everything. And I'll replace that folder because at first I have all those extra photos that I wanted to delete but never had the time to do it. So now that I've done most of it, it's been deleted. I just take all those photos, archive it to my devices. I hope this makes sense. This is my full workflow. Again, lots of options for you on the market if you're looking for a software, Lightroom, Luminar, Capture One, Pictorials, just to name a few. There's cheaper options over there. There's different options. Find some. They're probably all of them do free trials, so go try them out. See what worked best for you. Just keep in mind that if your photos are only on the SD cards and never come out of them, you may lose them. Those sometimes go bad. They get corrupted. Same thing as hard drive will fail. So if I have one big recommendation is have at least 2 or 3 options for backing up. It could be the cloud, OneDrive, and your computer, or there could be different options, but have different copies of your files because you might lose them. You don't have to archive everything if you don't want to. You might just choose stuff that are very important for you, like family photos or certain trips you do or whatever the case might be, right? So redundancy is the key, I guess. This is how I survived in my commercial business as a photographer and videographer, is by archiving. I had one project that went sideways and was very unfortunate because my hard drive at the time totally failed on me. My hard drive, my computer also totally failed on me at more or less at the same time. Lucky enough for me, I had files on my camera that did not delete at the time, but I could not retrieve the whole project. So that's something you got to keep in mind if you're, if you shoot with different cameras. So if you get an iPhone, you get your Sony camera, you have like a Canon camera. Sometimes I'll shoot like 3 to 4 different video camera at the same time, including my drone. So if I have only the footage of my drone left on my SD card in my drone, then I'm missing everything else, right? So this is why I highly suggest you take all those files, put them somewhere safe, and copy them somewhere else as well safe, and then you'll be good to go. Alright, so that was my basic video on how I manage my files. If you have any question about it, because it's a very lengthy video and there's a lot of information, just feel free to write them in the comments below or send me an email if you want to. And you can visit my website. I'll have a little bit of writing and breakdown as well on this topic. So thanks again for watching my videos. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel as well. And until next time, I wish you a good day.